How many of you know what you need to know about money? And what do you think you need to know about it? It is clear that it is needed, but there are other things, the knowledge and understanding of which can make a person more successful in this life. I think that those of you who have very little money know the most about money, because such are the characteristics of human behavior. He compensates for the lack of real material goods in his life, with a high opinion of himself. And yet, no matter how much you know about life and about money in particular, I recommend you read this article, at least for a pleasant pastime. Yes, I understand that you are very smart people and know everything perfectly well, and it is not for me to teach you anything, but still, if you came here to this site, then do not be lazy to take something from it. Actually, money and everything connected with it is the very topic that is considered and studied in the greatest detail on this site. All other related topics are touched upon by me superficially, because my main task is to reveal as widely as possible and study the topic of money in sufficient depth. As you can see for yourself, there are no cash buttons or other freebies here. You will not get anything here except knowledge, so I recommend to all of you who live in the real world and understand that no one gives anything in it for free, to study all my materials thoroughly. After all, their complete understanding by you will allow you to take what you ask from life and from other people yourself. Never ask anything from anyone. Here is my recommendation to you: do not be a weakling, greedily grasping at everything that is slipped to her. If someone promises to give you something, so, simply, for free, rest assured, you are being caught on your stupidity and greed, throwing you bait in the form of a freebie. When you realize this, you will already be hanging on a hook, and your entire ass will be at someone else's disposal. That is why it is necessary to be very careful with everything that lies on the surface and asks to be put in your mouth. Let this be the first knowledge that you need to learn. In general, there is a lot of knowledge about money, namely useful knowledge that a person needs for life. But in one article we will not be able to touch on it all, much less study it, since this is too much information that needs to be chewed piece by piece to fully understand. Therefore, we will pay attention only to the most, from my point of view, important knowledge that you need to learn first. So, as for money, keep in mind no one gives it to you for free. I don't know how difficult it is to explain this idea to some overly gullible people, because given that over time there are more and more scams, it is obvious that there are more and more suckers for whom they are intended. But damn, friends, it is really so. Just think about the meaning of this truth. Why would anyone give you money for free? Why? I am generally amazed at all the slag that is fed to the crowd today, or in modern parlance, hamsters, on the internet. Do you believe in good people who sincerely wish you well and prosperity? No? But look at how many very kind people there are on the internet, offering you something good and very profitable. How many organizations, companies, exchanges there are, offering you to make money without doing anything. And how many profitable offers for investing money and similar scams can be found on the internet today. You see how many people are concerned about your prosperity and happiness. You don't think that these kind people are really eager to help you, do you? If you don't think so, then why are you falling for all their scams? Well, just recently, I got a call from some company. I already wrote about this, by the way, and they offered free financial literacy training. No, just imagine, in the city center, in a posh building, in large and bright offices, where slobbering boys and girls in beautiful but cheap suits run around, people will be taught financial literacy for free. That's exactly what they told me on the phone. This is such a bummer that it's enough to drive you crazy. What kind of moron do you have to be to buy into such a scam? I just want to ask, at whose expense is this banquet? Who, and for what purpose, is paying for raising the literacy of the population? As far as I know, Investors are willing to invest money in fooling and stupefying the population in order to sell them something, but not in educating them. If only I had time, I would have brainwashed these scammers myself, but alas, I don't have that time now. So after brainwashing the brainless dolls who tried to convince me of the need to come to their center for 15 minutes, I still turned them down and didn't play the catch the sucker game any further. They quickly warmed to me when I made it clear to them that I was curious to know about their free education. It didn't stay that way for long, though, because I refused to go anywhere. However, who knows, maybe those brainless suckers put me on the list of potential suckers, and maybe they'll call again in the future. And to be honest, I don't even know what to do, either torment them further, feeding their hopes of luring me somewhere, or tell them to go far away and not waste their time on all this nastiness. I'll have to think about it. This is what happens these days. People are being deceived not by some gypsy women at the train station, but by educated people in suits and ties, and all this is done according to the law. Formally there is no deception. But that's not the point, that's something else. What you need to know about money first of all, in addition to everything said above, is that no one will just give it to you. Well, they won't teach you something for free, they won't. Why would anyone need that? Think about it yourself, why? For free, or rather at your expense, when you'll be wasting your precious time, they'll only rip you off. According to the law, this can be done today, it's like a business. And it doesn't matter at all what kind of wrapper the freebie is wrapped in, if they offer it to you, it means they're trying to deceive you somehow. And what difference does it make how? And no one will just give you money either. Think about it yourself, who would give you money that you have to work for, money that doesn't fall from the sky like rain? Well, yes, there are fools who are ready to give their last shirt off to help their neighbor, but fools have long been fooled, that's the point. They might give you something, just like that, because you are a good person, but they have nothing. A fool is not only not on good terms with his head, but also not with money, it does not stay with him in principle. Therefore, big money is mostly in the hands of smart people, who will not part with it just like that. And that means they will not offer it to you just like that, unless they decide to deceive you. Do you understand that? Let's move on. Here's what else you need to know about money. You either earn money with your own efforts, working hard for it, or you extract it from other people, from the working population, in any way you can. You don't necessarily have to deceive them, the people, you can offer them something, some goods or services, not necessarily yours, you can just be an intermediary for which people will pay you money. Or someone can offer you something really useful, for which you will be willing to pay. These are normal business relationships between people. This is normal business. It's just that lately, working has become unfashionable, while fooling working people is not only easy, given the low level of intelligence of the people, but also prestigious. And therefore, business today is no longer understood as socially useful activity, but all sorts of scams. Wherever you go, they are always trying to deceive you, in a variety of ways. They are always trying to extract money from you, offering you to pay for air. Such full-scale parasitism will not end well, believe me, soon there will be global social cataclysms in the world, everything is heading exactly in that direction. But that will be another story. In the meantime, let's get back to money, or rather, to the knowledge about it, without which you will never have this money. Can money make money? What do you think? I understand that you have often heard about this, investments, and all that, interest, deposits, increasing money, and so on and so forth. But do you know what is behind all this? And I know for sure, not approximately, or when it seems, I think, I feel. Money does not make money, remember this once and for all. I have already written about this, and I will write it again, since some people do not get it the first time. Money is made by people. If we talk about their purchasing power, you can simply print paper in any quantity, but you still need to produce goods for these papers and provide services for them. And all these goods and services are created and provided by people, living people, working hard from morning till night for a salary. So when you try to make money, you are actually trying to buy someone else's labor and squeeze more value out of it, and as a result, more money than the amount you invested in that labor. This is if we are talking about honest money multiplication. In all other cases, we are talking about pyramids, participating in which the majority of people will end up losing. The scheme here is quite simple. In pyramids, money is not invested anywhere at all. It is collected from gullible suckers, who are initially paid their interest. And when greed turns off the brains of gullible investors, and they bring all their money to the pyramid, then the shop closes and all the money remains in the pocket of Uncle Vashya, who promised you a sweet life, but in fact provided himself with such a life, at your expense. Creating a pyramid is as easy as pie. You just need to convince a large number of suckers to buy your shares, bonds, and similar acacias, the value of which is determined not by something real, but only by the sucker's faith in the significance of some piece of paper, or even numbers on a computer monitor. That's basically how it is with money. Their entire value lies only in people's faith in a piece of paper with a portrait of the American president or any other piece of paper. Do you think $1 is worth some rubles, according to the central bank exchange rate? No way, it's worth exactly as much as you're willing to pay for this green stuff. So it turns out that money has never made and is not making new money. They're not rabbits, damn it, to really and usefully reproduce. It's us, the people, who make money, or rather those values, real values, that we're willing to sell for this money. Considering the above, before investing your money in something, you should inquire about the activities of the company that promises you a solid percentage. Let's say you take your money somewhere, like invest it, but what exactly are you investing it in? What kind of activity? Will your money be used to grow potatoes, launch a new production facility, develop oil fields? What exactly will your money do? Whose work will it pay for? Do you understand that it is important to know this if you are really investing your money? And you need to know everything reliably, and not from the words of all sorts of managers of various investment companies who can say a lot of things. And when you know exactly what will be paid for with your money, what kind of activity and for what purpose this activity will be paid for, then you will be able to understand exactly what you are investing money in and whether this investment will bring you profit. And how else can you even engage in investing, normal investing? I mean, should you trust other people who deal with money? Well, then it's easier to believe in the Yeti. If you're so naive that you're ready to invest money anywhere, without knowing anything about what exactly it will be used for, then you'd better keep it under your pillow. It'll be safer that way. Here's what you need to know about money before you trust strangers with it, being led by the phrase, money makes money. Does it follow from this that it is impossible to make money on various pyramids? No, it is not. Of course, it is possible to make money on pyramids, and you can make a lot of money on them. If it were impossible, they would have gone bust long ago. Forex, MICEX, RTS, various investment funds, mutual aid funds, and the like, these are all pyramids. Pyramids in the good sense of the word. I will explain why. The thing is that no real values are produced by these companies. All that people do on these exchanges is speculate in conditional values. This is a game for money. Well, it is like playing in a casino or playing cards for money. That is, it is not investing, but a game. And by the way, today you are more likely to make money on such a game than on real investments. Why? Because all the real and truly profitable investments, you see, in gold, in diamonds, in all sorts of developments, new projects, and the like, are taken apart by rich people who have a lot of money. Do you really think that rich people wouldn't invest their money at 50% and 1000% per annum, where it's really possible? So why don't they do it in all sorts of shady companies? Because it's impossible. And what's possible, nobody will offer you. The bank gives a loan to businessmen at 20% per annum, and you want 1000% on your measly $1,000 or $10,000. Just think a little with your head, what's the benefit in paying such interest to an ordinary person? But on Forex and similar pyramids, you can earn such interest, because in these companies you cannot earn it, but win. The main secret is that money is brought to exchanges such as Forex, MICEX, RTS, New York Stock Exchange, and the like by people who want to multiply it in this way. Shares are bought and sold on these exchanges according to the law of supply and demand, when some, the so-called investors, sell and others buy conditional values. As long as there are people with money on the exchange who buy shares, we see an increase in the prices of the shares they buy, and if there are no people with money on the exchange, or if there are people, but they have no money, the shares become cheaper, because no one buys them. There is no real connection between the price of shares and the company itself, whose shares are traded on these exchanges. Only if this or that company closes down, then its shares will depreciate, or if negative information about this or that company slips through the media, then its shares will also fall. That's all there is to trading rotten potatoes on these exchanges. Rotten because they are bought and sold many times, without any real use. This is speculation in conventional values, and nothing more. If prices change 10 times a day for shares of the same company, how do you understand that? What can happen to a company in a day? Nothing. This, I repeat, is simply speculation, nothing more and nothing less, and in this game everything depends on the behavior of speculators, that is, investors, players who either invest in waste paper or in numbers on the monitor, or do not invest. This is what money is on the exchanges, which supposedly make themselves. They simply migrate from one pocket to another. This is a kind of card game of financiers and economists, who are often joined by amateurs. You can take part in it, and if you win in this game, it can be 1,000, 2, or even 10,000% of your profit. Everything depends on your brain. For example, with strong jumps in the dollar, it would be possible to make a lot of money on Forex, of course, by predicting these jumps. Here's what you need to know about money, so you don't just waste it out of stupidity, but also earn it whenever possible, and also multiply it. I bet you don't want to work at all, you want to relax, have fun, lie on the couch or chat about all sorts of nonsense on social networks. But just not work, you don't need that. Well, what can I say, it's a normal desire for a healthy person. No one in their right mind wants to work. But no one pays money for idleness, that's the problem. You would be happy to fool around all day long if you were paid for it, but no one will pay you for it. And there are different ways to not work. You can do nothing, not work at all and live very poorly because of it, or you can play golf and go sailing, having fun with girls, while suckers work for you. In both cases, the desire not to work is a normal desire, a healthy desire. To hell with them all, those who tell us that we have to work, that without effort you can't take a fish out of a pond, that work is not a wolf, and so on and so forth. If they want to work, let them work. Work loves a fool, and a fool loves work. You don't need it, you don't want to work, right? But no one cares what you need and what you don't need, what you want and what you don't want. You will still have to work, because you are forced to do it, because this is the only way you can earn money for a living, without which no one will give you anything. What should you do then, so as not to work? This is the very knowledge about money that you need to get and which I am telling you about. This is what is of real value to a person, because it helps him realize his desires. You need to learn to manage people. That's it, you don't need to learn anything else in this life. Learn to manage people, you won't work, but you will have a lot of money. This is actually what they teach at Harvard Business School. They teach mainly management, that is, managing people. This is business, real business, you learn to herd sheep. An ordinary person who has completed a standard education, when he needs money, looks for a job. He looks for a job. But a businessman, a manager, not to mention a politician, when he needs money, looks for workers. Do you feel the difference? And who do you think will have more money, the one who works for himself and others, or the one for whom a bunch of workers toil? Here is the whole secret of the rich and successful. And you thought that they read special mantras and thereby attract money to themselves? Don't be mentally retarded idiots. There is no mysticism in the lives of the rich and some kind of genetic predisposition to money. They, the rich, as the Americans say, squeeze money out of people like lard from pigs. Well, that's probably all. This article has enough information. I'll write the rest later. Of course, what's written here is not everything you need to know about money, but it's enough for the average person to get their brains in order. There will be other materials on my site, even more useful than this one, so I recommend you visit me more often. You won't be able to learn everything you need and use in one go. Only rabbits do everything quickly, and people need time to learn something. So listen to useful knowledge about money and use it in your life. Today, thanks to the internet, you have a real opportunity to learn how to be normal people, and not simple-minded and naive people wearing bast shoes.